Charlies. I am Stephanie at Hidden Illuminations, and I am a modern day mystic and a guide. And today I want to talk to you about how I do use the tarot. I've been spending some time talking about creative ways that I use cards or archetypes outside of the standard Rider-Waite's, Pamela Cohen-Smith system. And one of the things that I talked about yesterday was how I might use a grand tableau in the Lenormand style of laying out all 36 cards and seeing who's next to one another. But I actually do that in a much more short form way with the Rider-Waite Coleman Smith style. So I wanted to show that to you for a moment. And let me get to the cards. This particular deck is the Fifth Spirit Tarot by Charlie Claire Burgess, and I have selected uh, what I consider the Divorce Queen as my significator. And so in this particular situation, I know that I want to know if someone is going into a divorce situation and they are feeling strong about how they're going to create their new life. I may be curious to know what energies they're walking with into the divorce process. I have a particularly deep understanding of the divorce system, at least here in Oregon, and the counties around where I live. And so, because I understand the system, I'm not particularly swayed by the mystique of how the system works or what the steps are. I'm much more interested in how we individuals negotiate going through the system and separating one life into two. And so, in a situation where I want to see someone in their fullest, strongest, the Queen of Swords, that fantastic, strong emotional balance with good decision making, I'd like to see where that person stands in the overall archetype of options. And so, having formed that question, I go through the deck and I look for that Queen of Swords. And I look for the cards that are on either side of her. Perhaps I might consider it a 5-card draw where the Queen of Swords is in the center and I want to see the 2 cards on both sides. Perhaps I might expand it if it's a particularly informative group of cards. But right now, I'm just looking for that queen. Come show me where you are, beautiful Queen of Swords. There she is. So in this particular reading, we've got a situation where the Queen of Swords stands next to the Nightmare card, the Nine of Swords, and the Five of Swords. Let me get this a little bit more centered for you. And so, you can see all of the blades in her background, but we've got High Priestess backing that up. And moving forward into a decision of the Two of Swords, and then this beautiful flying King of Cups option here. So I'll put the High Priestess up here. And then that's leading to another page and the Empress after that. So I will take a peek there. So in this particular situation, if I had a divorcee or someone who is newly going into the divorce system or comes to me, I'd say you've already done the nightmare work. You've already had the fights. And you're now sitting in a situation where, yes, you have decisions to make, but you're not fighting anything within your own instincts. You're not fighting anything. There's nothing hidden from you that you don't know where the fight is. This would be the situation where if there were children involved, you know who the primary parent is, you know what the parenting arrangement should look like. You probably already know exactly the forms that are used in your county to fill out the standard parenting agreement that everybody follows in your general area. And so you just need to decide, am I going to follow this script that I've written out, or am I going to want to negotiate a little bit? Am I open to the other side pushing for changes in what I believe is the current parenting agreement? What is the fair division of assets? What's the fair allocation of debts? And moving forward, after that decision is made, then we have this Knight of Cups galloping in. So you're pretty much so done with the divorce that and you know, when I call the Queen of Swords the divorce queen, I say that that's because she's been through a divorce, seen the worst in someone who swore to love her, and she has processed her own emotion, logically looked at the fact that people's needs change, and who they want in their lives change. And there's no fault in that. As long as people go off to where they need to be, they just don't have to stand next to you. Accept it and know that life and love can happen again. And so we've got that Knight of Cups. So, you know, just look at the ease which wit, you know, on the roller skates with the radio pumping, coffee and the wind in their hair. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And behind that, some new ideas about what life can look like with this little page coming in. And then bookended on both sides with this gorgeous femininity of walking from there being secrets and not knowing the answers, fighting the fight, and then sliding right into the Empress of creation. And so I am using the idea of her propinquity within the deck to look at who is in the past and who is moving forward into the future to take a picture of where my client is right now. So I might use this in a situation where perhaps I have a client who's not able to self-express very well. They're just not a fantastic communicator, or we're on a different page. Maybe there's a lingual difference. And so I would be able to say, is it true that you've already had your fight? You're making one final decision and then you're out the door, like you're sliding out the door for new ideas to come in, but also, you know, this knight with his cup to slide in, or perhaps you're your own, you know, taking yourself on your own date nights to find out who you are and be comfortable with who you are. However you want to see that, going right into your Empress or Creatrix mode. So that's how I use Propinquity within the deck. It is very similar to how I described in my last reading about using the Grand Tableau to see what energies are you in your field and who's around you. This is much more of where are you standing, where have you been, and where are you going. That's a little bit different than just pulling 5 cards for a 5-card spread, or even a past, present, future 3-card spread. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you have an amazing day. See you next time. Bye for now. I kind of like that. That was kind of cute. That could be it. I'm done.